going to learn how to do this scoreboard. The first thing you do whenever you lock in is first you're going to have to connect everything. And if you look in the back, you're going to see that there's these cords here, okay? And all you have to do is connect both cords to the back of your unit, right here and right here. So you just screw those on, make sure those are on nice. And that's going to help you transmit your information to the scoreboard. The next thing that you have to do is turn it on. It's on the side, it's just a flip switch, and it's going to ask you, do you want to start where you turned off last? Most of the time, you're going to say no. You don't want the score and the shots on goal and the time and the period to start from the last game that you were that you had at the rink. So you press no, and that's right here. And it says, I am your Nevco MPC-5. Please enter your model code. The model code is always right here. It's 871. This is a multi-purpose device, so these little black covers come off. I guess I glued that one down. But so you can do different sports on this device. And so what you do is you enter 871. 871. And it says hockey. Do you want to use penalty timeout? Press yes or no. 99% of the time for youth hockey, we are going to use no. The penalty timeout, what that does is if you have space in between your periods, like let's say you set your intermission time for 5 minutes, if you say yes, then it won't take your penalty time down at the same time that you are doing the intermission time. But for our youth hockey, we don't really have an intermission time. So for anything other than high school and I think midget major, we're just going to say no. And you're going to have all these zeros. So what you want to do first, let me orient you to this pad here. On the left side, you have all these buttons. My goodness. The main ones that you're going to use are set and time. The other ones down here, you're going to have penalty insert, penalty clear, home penalty, guest penalty. Those you'll use once in a while, but most of the time you're just going to use the set and then time. And then on the right hand side, you've got all these numbers, and you have yes, no, guest score, home score, blank. Okay, so first of all, what we need to do is set the time. When you first come in, you're going to need to set 3 minutes on the clock. And 3 minutes is from when the whole teams are out on the ice and practicing. So once the last player enters the ice, you're going to start that time. So you need to get that set ahead of time. So to set that, you had set, time, and then it'll ask you for minutes and seconds. And if you look at that, it's got 2 places for minutes, 2 places for seconds. Remember that. There's 2 on each one. That's really important. If I just put 300, then it's just going to start with 300. So it's going to be 30 minutes. So what you want to do is put 0300. So you see how that's 3 minutes? And it just takes the seconds, the hundreds of seconds, it doesn't care. And then hit yes. It's going to ask me for my period. It's going to say it's the first period. It's ready to go. Now to start the time on this, you have this little handheld device here. This is your horn button. Not a great idea to leave your finger on that button, because if you get all excited and jittery, you're going to hit that horn while you're in play. So keep your thumb off of that. This is the flip switch for time on and off. So what you're going to do is to the left, it's off. You see my time is not running. Flip it over here, my time starts running. When the whistle blows, you're going to have this in your hand. You just flip it. That stops the time immediately. When when they drop the puck again, flip it back. Okay, they'll give you a warning whistle before they drop the puck to alert you. But as soon as they drop that puck, go ahead and flip that to the right. It's a good idea to have this in your hand at all times. If your hands even get cold, then you can stick it in your pocket. But I'm going to stop the time. At the end of the period, it's going to run down and the horn will sound automatically. As soon as that horn sounds, flip the switch. The horn will not immediately go off. Don't worry about that. It'll go off about a half second later. But what you're going to do is you're going to have this tendency to say, oh, I must not have done this right. Flip it back, the horn sounds again, and then you flip it back and the horn will stop. So just turn it off, trust that the horn will go off. If it doesn't, flip it a couple of times and it will go off. Once in a while it will have a glitch in it. To set the time again, so this is the end of the 3-minute period. To set your time again, you just do the same thing. Hit set, time, and then our normal periods for youth hockey are usually going to be 12 minutes. So 1, 2, 0, 0, and then hit yes. Is it the first period? If it is, great. If it's not, maybe it's a second period, it'll start the second period that way. Then whenever play starts, you hit your switch. All right. Another thing you want to do when you first come in and set the time is you need to set the score on the scoreboard. The officials don't really like to have a blank screen up there for the score, so what you do first, just to set it at 0, is to hit home score. You can hit set too if you want to. Set, home score, 0. And then you hit yes. Yes is always kind of your go-to button to say enter. And then you set, yes score, 0, yes. Now my scoreboard says a score of 0 on both sides. If you are going to keep shots, you also need to set your shots. So if you set home shots 0, set guest shots to 0, and then yes. Now my scoreboard up top says that it's 11:55. This is on the scoreboard, the big one. The home score is 0, the guest score is 0. It's the second period because remember I put in the second period, and the guest shots are 2 and the home shots are 2. If you don't want a number in those guest shots, and you decide you don't want to keep shots, you set guest shots and then you hit blank, that will take it out. And yes, will take me back to my time on the screen. So set home shots, blank. So I just took it off of my screen for that. So now you know how to set the time and you know how to set everything to 0. What happens when someone scores a goal? The basic way, and I'm not going to teach a lot of the fancy little tricks, but the basic way is just come over here, and right now it's at 0, okay? Let's say the home scored a goal. If I just hit home score, if you see, the home score is right now 0. I want to add how many to it on the screen. They scored 1. And then I hit yes. Now on the scoreboard, it says that home is 1 and my guest is still 0. If the guest scores, you just hit guest score. So it says 0 plus 1. And then yes. Now we're tied at 1. If you forget, and let's say the score is already 4, and you hit, and you want to make it 5, and you hit guest score, and then you just hit 5, now all of a sudden it's 6. You've added 5 to that number. Well, how do you correct that? It's very easy. Hit set, and then guest score, and it's supposed to be 5. It was 4, and you wanted to add 1, but then you added 5, and now it's 9 or whatever. So you just hit 5 and hit yes. So if you ever do make a mistake on entering your goals, all you have to do is just set, and then the number that it's supposed to, or the home score or guest score, and then the number it's supposed to be, and then yes. And so it's very easy to correct that. You don't have to subtract the number, you don't have to do anything, just set it to whatever the number is supposed to be. Probably the most difficult part of the time clock is not only just remembering to flip that switch for when play is stopped or when it starts again, but really to enter penalties and get penalties back off of the screen up top. The reason for that is play cannot stop, or excuse me, play cannot start until you enter that penalty. They're not allowed to drop the puck until that penalty is on the board so that time can start ticking off the clock. Very easy to do so. All you have to do is first we're going to hit set. So set is kind of your main button there. And let's say it was the visitors who got the penalty. You're going to hit guest penalty. It'll ask you for how many minutes it is. Remember, there's 4 digits there. So if it's a minute 30, you're going to need to set it for 0, 1, 3, 0. Okay, so you see it's 4 digits. Don't forget that. If you put a number in here and it beeps at you, what's going to happen is you're going to get a little flustered because you're under the gun. People are looking at you to put that time in. Don't worry. Just remember, it is 4 digits. And then you're going to hit yes. Now it's going to ask you for the player number. If it's a bench foul, we just put 0, 0 in. If it's a player, then let's say it's player number 12. We just hit 12. It automatically goes up on the board. Now my board reflects that there's a minute 30 penalty on number 12. So let's say that all of a sudden the guests also get another penalty. So I'm going to hit set, guest penalty, 0, 1, 3, 0, yes. Let's say this player's number is 8. So I'll put 8. It didn't like that. On the board, you couldn't hear that very well, but it beeped at me like it was a little angry. And on the board, that penalty did not go on the board. It just went back to normal. So what did I do wrong? Remember, set, guest penalty. Let's say it's 0, 1, 3, 0. Yes. It always wants 2 digits. It doesn't show you on this, so it gets really confusing if you don't know exactly what you did wrong. You need to put a 0 and an 8. Now on the board, it says a minute 30, and it has player number 08 on the board. That's pretty important to remember because, like I said, they're waiting for you to put that penalty on the board. If you don't know that little trick of it has to be a double-digit number, whether it's number 1, whether it's 99, it doesn't care. It wants 2 digits every time. If you remember that, if you do make a mistake, you'll remember really quickly what you did wrong. So, whenever you have penalties on the board, when the time is counting down, it will automatically be removed from the board when they expire. You don't have to do anything special to get them off the board. However, if the opposite team scores and that player is released from the penalty box, then you'll want to probably clear that penalty off of the board. If you have a lot of difficulty doing that and you have a lot of things going on in the game, most officials understand if you just let the time expire and you don't clear it, but it's actually quite easy to clear it. You just have to remember how. There is usually a cheat sheet in the scoreboard area to remind you how to do this. This is still something I have to look up once in a while, but it's pretty easy. So even if time is running down at this time, you can still clear a penalty. All you have to do is hit either home penalty or guest penalty. It depends on who was released from the box. But let's say I say guest penalty, if you look on my screen, it says it's guest is the G. So guest 1 is a minute 30. He has a minute 30 left in his number is 12. And it depends on which player. If you want the second person to be cleared off the board and for different reasons, then you just hit guest penalty again. It would go to the next one. So if I want to clear that one, fine. But let's go back to number 1. So I've got him on my screen, and all you have to do is hit penalty clear. It's that button right there. And then it says clear yes or no. You hit yes. He's cleared. It's off the board. So let's say they just scored another goal, and I want to clear the second one. It's going to bring that one up. That's the only one left on the board. Number 8 still has a minute 30 left. Penalty clear? Yes. They're both off the board. I can do that while time is running. I do not have to wait for the clock to stop to clear that off. So that's pretty handy. Another thing that we want to do is we want to try to keep track of the home shots and the guest shots. It's actually really easy to do that. And what I do when I'm doing the score clock is I can't see everything that's going on. So I ask usually it's my penalty box people, if they see a true shot, a shot that's defined as a shot, not just them shooting the puck. But if it's technically a shot, I'll have them call it out to me, and that way I don't have to be the one responsible for looking at everything all the time. But those 2 buttons are right here. So let's say the home team just took a shot. All you have to do is hit home shot, and it has this plus up here, and you just hit 1. And then you can hit yes to go back to your time. Now it shows that the home team has 1 shot on the board. Let's say they're doing rapid fire shots, and the penalty box guys are going shot, 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 shot. If you just count how many shots that they took, you can put multiple shots in. So let's say the visiting team had 5 shots in a row, very, very rapid fire. You just hit guest shots, and then 5, and then yes, that added 5 to their shot count. So it's going to add whatever number you put on this. So right now the guests have 5 shots. Let's just say they took 2 more shots. Guest shot, I'm going to add 2, so 5 plus 2. Now they have 7 on the board. So that is pretty much it for the score clock. I think that it's pretty easy to do. The first time you do it, it's great to have someone doing the score sheet next to you. And the score sheet is the written account of the game. And the person who does the score sheet, if they know the score clock, then what they can do is they can help you if you do have any questions, or if you just forget what to do, or you just get stuck. For instance, you forgot to enter the 0 in front of the 8 for player number 8. They will usually know what you're doing wrong. So it's great to have somebody else in that box to help you when you do it the first time. So it's definitely something that everybody needs to know. All right, good luck. We'll see you at the